Thank you everybody for being here. It was kind of sketchy out there for me, but it's really good to see everyone. And I just really appreciate everyone. All the work that I know is going on, in between meetings and, going here and there and working on the certificate of pilot. I wish there was like an acronym for that. So that would be a lot of work. That's a mouthful. And Chris doing the landmark presentation at City Council, that was awesome. I watched it. Those are my early morning when I can't go back to sleep.
The City Council? For the City Hall?
Yeah. Took it up there. They were pretty receptive.
What'd you take up there?
Landmarking for City Hall.
Application for City Hall that we approved. Oh. Yeah.
But it still has its acceptance.
Oh.
And that should come to the next meeting. And
good. Do we need to be there? Should we go?
You can if you.
It'll be the next City Council.
To see you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Carlos and Miss Jean hanging out at the tourism meeting and representing. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to see that. So, and I know you mentioned it, but it was kind of fun to hear you talk about the Wheeler Monument because it's just really, it's like I didn't know what it was. So I think it's going to be great to educate more about it. So thank you guys.
Yeah. I mean, like I said in the meeting, like unfortunately I heard that, or I learned that it has been disturbed, so it's not in its original place, which is very,
it's so funny,
very
now
disturbing.
that I know it's there, every time I drive by, I'm like, oh, there it is.
Well,
It's just a big honk.
Maybe we could put it in its right place someday. Is it in the freeway?
No, I don't know.
Behind the side.
I mean, you'd have to retrace his survey.
That'd be
So
difficult.
we'd have to get a transit that can track the stars and do it
Stars?
Go ahead and do
They have
that.
to be in the right place.
and then figure out where.
If there's any way
Yeah.
historically
A lot of work.
Maybe I could possibly do it, but I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it necessarily for free.
Yeah,
Sounds like
somebody'd
a real-
have to commission that.
Oh, maybe that's
History Colorado
part
or
of this
something.
process.
Yeah, I mean, it's still there. It's still stored. It's still in the vicinity of where it should be, but it's just not in its original location.
Where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know if it's inches, feet, yards. I don't know.
And
Understand.
it's already, degraded so much that it is important, right, to get it covered.
I would think so.
I mean, and how else do you restore something like that? I mean, you can't go back in and re-etch the stuff.
No, I think it's just
I don't think
trying to
so.
prevent from whatever it is. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of encasement you could put on it where it wouldn't.
Plastic cover.
Yeah, something that wouldn't like necessarily mess with it, where you could still see the stone, but not. I wouldn't even say like something covering it, but just like some kind of preservation, like paint or paste or something that just protects the elements from further weathering it.
I heard they're doing amazing things with tumbleweed.
They're doing
So-
the tumbleweed show we saw at the District Colorado.
Yeah, I think something that could preserve it would be a good start.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get our first two items. So this is just a work session of our HPC. We talked a little bit about the certificate of appropriateness, where we are with that.
Oh, okay. You wanna?
I'm
you
just
put
gonna-
the rest of it together. I mean, I don't know. I can talk about it a little bit.
You can talk about it, and I'll pass this out if anyone wants a copy, because Shirley was nice enough to put it all in Word. Here it is.
Pretty big document, but
So I just gonna say one thing. If y'all see something that doesn't look appropriate in this, the first page is our application for landmarking, and that's what we're gonna make it look like. And then if you see anything that stands out, please let me know. Shirley, you go
My
ahead.
questions I had are in red. I don't know if they show it.
Yeah,
But those are things I'm like, I don't even know if we have that, or it may have said something different, and I put historic district, or,
do we wanna walk through this, or what do you
I don't
guys
know, it should
suggest?
take a while. I don't
Um,
know. What do we wanna do with this, really?
Okay, well, the
I mean-
first page is our landmarking application.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
it
want to
makes sense.
make something similar to that.
With
No,
all
is
these
it?
pages.
Where's the one with the, I'm looking for it
This
now.
one?
Okay, yeah, I have the wrong copy.
Oh.
Yeah, so that one that's at the front is our landmarking application.
Grab the wrong paper.
Does it look like this?
Might be in the back or something.
I thought I had enough here.
Oh, I think that was it turned upside down that you just looked at. I thought I saw this thing.
Yeah, I have the uncopied things, but if I could get this thing off, make a copy really quick. What this,
So the red is what is different.
yeah, what this is everything that we had in our samples.
Right. And that people
Portion.
are using
I
now.
took most of it from the city of Fairplay. I mean, I didn't create any of this myself. I just kind of put some things together.
Nice.
But most of it is basically word for word from the city of Fairplay. But I
Yeah,
changed
you
appropriate,
changed
whatever.
Yeah.
the information.
That's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, that's how. And then I was gonna have Michael Yerman bless it, because he's the one that told us to use Fairplay's application.
Mm.
So basically, we're just doing a final review with this documentation and making sure that we have an application for the review, and then a process for how it needs to happen
What
from the
this
beginning.
document is,
Which is the
basically.
checklist, right? The certificate.
Well, what we got is like some criteria for the landmarking.
Oh, right.
Here you go, Derek.
That's what that one page is. And then a checklist of things that, I don't know how we want to handle the checklist of whether those are things they've turned in or whether we've looked at those things and
I think that would be something that I would do administratively.
that they've turned in these documents.
Yeah, because I've got to check off all of these items, and what it's changed from what I've done before is we didn't require them to have substantial plans, just kind of markups and proposed plans. So we might go to, if it's appropriate, to a more substantial set of plans.
Like a more finalized set.
Yes, not just a mock-up, but something that makes
Like, what are you
more
really
sense to
gonna do?
us. Yeah,
What do you, not what you think you're gonna do or what you wanna do, but what you're really gonna do.
yeah. So then we'll take this and if anything doesn't, it seems like it's out of what we would do, I would just take this and do some more changes. But this is pretty much close.
To what we're looking for. Like,
yeah.
on the next page, there's actually how we go about the architectural review.
Can you, when
Really
you
copy of
work
that?
on this next, can you number the pages just because it's for reference, just
Sure.
Anyway, small thing.
Yeah.
Architectural review page.
Okay. That page.
Architectural review procedure.
And
So-
what were you saying, sorry?
Did you find it?
Yeah.
Just that it's there and that's what we're gonna kind of use to determine if they get the certificate of appropriateness, really.
Yeah, we'll probably take out words like town and put city.
Yeah, I tried to catch those, but I may not have caught them all.
So you want city instead of town?
Yeah. Yeah, anytime you find something like that or a typo, just let us know so we can fix it.
And but I like like Michael Yerman had told us, this has a good start. for doing an architectural review. So he said we should use this.
I totally agree, just from doing them with FEMA. We'll use something very similar in a different way.
Oh, this is really progress. This is very cool.
Yeah,
And
because
that
it's
just
all
goes
in
on and
Word
on
now.
to our
Thanks.
actions and what have you.
Would it make sense for us, because I know I'd kind of like to take this with me and read through it and figure out, if I have
Everybody get a
questions
chance to
or
look at it.
suggestions, and
I'd
then
love
just
to
get
sit
them
and
back
edit it.
to.
Uh-huh.
I'd love to sit and edit.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you could edit it and scan
Yeah.
it back to me or pass it to me or
I'll probably just drop it off.
yeah,
Yeah,
just drop it off.
whatever you think.
Because I already have Shirley's work in Word for the
Easy to
application,
fix things in Word, yeah.
and I can just make some minor changes, and then we can just we're going to incorporate this into our new code that Michael's working on,
Okay.
and hopefully
There are
Put
places
some
in here
reviews.
to put a code, and I think I put those in red because I really didn't know.
right, and I don't even know
So,
yet.
yeah, we'll
Is he the new
Because-
planning director?
No, he's
his
contracted through the grant, the Brownsville's grant.
Oh, I see.
So
Michael,
he'll charge to do this, to review it, you think? Just
I-
What about,
I'm just asking him for his advice. I'm not asking him for any work in any way.
Yeah, just.
But he does want to take our historic preservation code that's sitting in chapter 14 and give it its own article, if that makes any sense. And then we're going to build upon that.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be part of that. There's going to be a procedures, and there's going to be a refer to this application kind of code adjustments, or he's going to make some revisions to the code in that aspect. The only thing that would be remaining that we haven't really discussed, and I don't know who would accept this, is the fee. I really think it shouldn't be free.
Well,
Our
definitely
time is
not.
worth something.
Well, you've got the 125, so I'm trying to.
That was what was on the City of Fairplay.
And what was, so there was something recently about at city council, they're gonna look at all the fees, or what, can you help me?
Yeah, sometime in the future they're going to do our fee review, but that usually takes some consideration of our time, the staff's time, and to do this work. So of course, landmarking shouldn't be free, and this architectural review should not be free as well. It's just free
What do we
services.
charge for landmarking now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
But they can apply for that $2,000 private
Incentive.
Well, to have their historical work done.
to have the historical work and the application.
Yeah, they get grant
And they
money.
could use that
And they
2,000
could
that we
probably-
have in our budget.
True, and they probably could get grant
Because
money
we
for the
allocated-
fee.
Exactly.
2, 3. We have 3 grants that are called.
Yeah, and that money there is used for the report that Miss Booms
Historical
puts
report.
together.
Right.
Yeah, it's not our fee.
Oh, I thought they could use that.
When do you want our feedback, Shirley and Chris? What's your timeline to hear back from us on this?
Before March.
So when that lady comes,
Yeah, I'd like to have this done. I know we're not having a meeting next month, but
And we
I'd
probably
like to
should
work on
schedule one, like you said, maybe. What is the date you don't want to schedule one in case, or an online Zoom to get everybody's.
I was
guys are
gonna
busy.
wait and see if y'all were proposing another work session, if it was needed before
Oh,
March.
that's an idea. Just have a work session, not
sure.
a meeting.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and then we can formally vote on it in
That
March.
makes, we could get more done.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I'd
formally
like to
vote
have
on
it
in March.
finished.
And we still have to vote on it, right, to approve it, right?
I think you have to
That's a
vote
good
to
idea.
accept it, and then we take it to city council.
So we then-
Okay, so we do, okay.
There is an action, yeah.
So let's do that. What day do you want to schedule, what do you want to do that later? Schedule a work session?
Proposal work session?
February before the March formal meeting.
Yeah. Well, it can't be during our conference.
Right, so maybe like our Mondays, like we did the third Monday.
Do you,
Today
or the
is the third
23rd
Monday.
again? Would y'all like to do
February?
that?
Is that a
Is
Monday?
that February? That's
See what day that is.
Wait,
I don't have my calendar up at all.
I
February.
don't have a calendar. My
The
calendar.
23rd is a Thursday.
Oh, then let's go
The
Monday.
20th is a Monday.
February 20th.
Uh-huh.
Let's do Mondays at 10. It's good for me. I'd rather do Mondays
Yes.
if possible.
President's Day. Are we off that day?
Oh, I bet you are.
Yeah, let's not, can we not do
And then there's the
28?
27th.
Is that a Monday?
Yep.
Well,
Let's
that's
do the
good.
27th.
I can do the 27th.
I can
All
do the
right.
27th.
Is
Can
everybody
you do
okay
it?
with the 27th?
I got
At 10
time to
a.m.
plan.
regular?
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
No, help me, I think I missed, so we are saying that in February, we're doing a work session only, but we need to vote on our certificate, when are we gonna
We'll-
do that
we'll
before
ex-
this review?
We'll
from-
accept the final certificate and procedures, and then we
In our
can,
work session.
in our work session, and then we'll act on it at the meeting, at the meeting in March, if that's okay. And we'll have something accomplished. Yay! I think that'll look good too. Before History Colorado will be here attending that meeting,
The March meeting.
the March meeting,
And it's called a review of our CLG.
yeah, and I'll just move on to that.
Yeah, let's do that.
So,
So I wanna know what a quadrennial is, like, every 4 years.
never heard of it.
Quadrennial? Do we say
I was like,
quadrennial?
excuse me, Lindsay Llewellyn, who is the preservation planner of History Colorado, contacted me and said, it's time for your quadrennial evaluation review.
I think they made that up.
I was like, we just turned in our I have a report that's due every November and have to submit all of our meeting minutes, everything we do, all of the budget. It's a lot.
So evidently
So
every
you already
4
have it done.
years they do a review.
I do an annual report every year.
But I mean, they must.
And then they must do this. So I
Every
guess
40 years?
40 would be quadrillennial.
Yeah, that's what I would
Quadrennial.
assume it means.
Maybe it's 4 times.
Somebody look it up.
But I
quad
thought-
is 4,
Well,
and that's every 4 years, and every
If I
4
can spell
years.
it right.
But
But they are coming on the March meeting.
yeah, I don't know if you still have those meeting notes about what it entails. If you don't, I make copies of this.
Okay, so quadrennial, recurring every 4 years. It's not 40. 4 years.
4.
Did not know about it, but she's gonna be here in person. She said she'd rather be here in person than virtually.
Then we
Works
can
for
ask her to
us.
participate with the
I
event, I hope.
look forward to her advisement, as what we're doing and what we should be doing. And she'll go through all of my files for historic preservation. That's why I gave you the meeting minutes
Wow.
to sign.
Those back to Chris.
Let's see.
It's like an audit, I guess, kind of.
Yeah, it's a mini audit. She'll review our records, demonstrate how we provide public access. She'll ask us, what are we doing for the
So
public?
is this all before our meeting at 2:30 that she'll kind of do all this stuff just with you, or?
She hasn't really told me. She just said she'll be here in person and she'd like to attend our meeting. She'll probably go to the meeting and then go through our files and make some recommendations about what we should be doing as a CLG. In our processes. So this last piece is very vital to
That we've
get.
actually been doing something.
Yeah, that we have everything in place and we're ready to go. So she asked for meeting minutes, resumes, or the forms that you give in your application forms
Gee,
for
I
the
hope y'all have
HPC.
that.
I hope I'm gonna get those all together.
I hope they have that in their files.
I'm not gonna provide resumes. I don't think it's.
No, just
Like,
the application.
Only if she asked for them.
Well, she's asking for them here, but we have that form that we have y'all fill
Letter of
out.
interest.
Yeah.
Certificate of interest or something.
Resumes from us?
Yes, but I'm just gonna use your form that you filled out, when you applied to
You
be
need
on
one,
the
I have mine.
HPC.
Sure.
And if she asks for more, I'll just send them later. I'm not gonna. I think that's a little bit too much, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, maybe Shirley's would be
You can send
helpful.
mine in if you want to make it look
I'll
like
build
somebody
mine.
Or she
historical.
probably tries to match it up with the ordinance. It
Need
says
to
we
have
have
one
to have an
anyway.
architect, and we have to have a realtor, and we have
I
to.
know.
Shirley's
Probably
is
what-
vital.
Shirley's
Yeah,
is
because there
vital.
are requirements for this commission.
I was
that
looking at I mean, nobody wants to volunteer who's a realtor in town. Nobody
I know,
wants to
well, we
volunteer.
had a realtor.
as a-
We
But
did have-
historically,
yeah.
at least in the recent past, we had, well, was it Shannon?
Shannon was a
Shannon
realtor. So we
Rogan.
have had.
She
She
was.
was a realtor, and
That's
then
right.
Jana was. So
Well,
we
we've never had a
Ah,
surveyor,
ah.
so we could, I mean. we
Yeah,
could adjust.
you would be important to the commission.
I'm not a licensed surveyor, but I've done surveys.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason they need a realtor.
And then the
But we
other
can provide
part
it if you
Is
need it.
the
I can get
list?
my realtor license.
Oh yeah,
No, I'm just
or you could get one really quick
kidding.
before she
You
comes.
could.
And then what Carlos is helping us out with is the list of all locally designated properties.
I'm working on that. I almost have it done.
So that's
I'm
going to
just
help
building
us
it better.
in the visit for History
amazing.
Colorado
That's amazing.
and our mailing, because that mailing I could do a mail
Uh-huh.
merge with those names.
All those addresses.
And
How
send
we
them
get a hold
out.
of people. Yeah, that's how our. get
So
direct
that's
mail,
important.
direct
Super
email.
cool.
We have a
Yeah.
lot going on.
It
We
is.
actually do.
Yeah, we do, when you think about it.
So I want to be well prepared for Lindsay, and then the mayor would like to meet with Lindsay for to talk to her about their Bloomsfield mansion and
Like what's gonna happen with the
Bloomsfield
house, it's
Mansion,
kind of almost an
Blumenbach,
embarrassment.
Blumenbach Mansion.
Bloom-and-Baca. Sorry,
Bloomsfield, that's a good
Like
one.
they're almost
might
an
be our-
embarrassment.
Thinking Brownfield.
fire. Yes, I got a Brownsfield meeting right after this.
Do you know, Chris, and I think I know the answer to this question, but I'll throw it out there anyway. So I know that council has talked a little bit about, consolidating boards, and I think they're referring mostly to Main Street and the core zone. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think the HPC
I don't think
This
is
is-
at risk. to
We're
be
at by
consolidated.
ordinance,
Yeah, we are.
Right, that's a.
and they can't get rid of this.
Yeah. Unless they
Just-
want to get rid of the historic preservation and the
Yeah.
CLG.
No,
and
Right.
yeah, they would
That's-
not throw this out. It
Yeah.
would not be a.
Too much for
It wouldn't be
Progress. But there are a lot of boards and commissions that I'm just like,
They
where are
seem
these all
redundant.
coming
I just
from?
couldn't even believe it when I moved here. I'm like, wait. I'm so
There's a
confused
lot.
about
So
some of
I
this.
think it's a good idea to look at it for sure. I
Yes.
don't disagree with that. I just was wondering about.
Now we're not
us.
in jeopardy at all, but it is something that it's just getting. It's just too many to
many. It's
handle,
very
to
confusing.
monitor. We don't even have
Yeah.
enough room to have meetings.
Plus all the cross communication. There's no
Mhm.
communication
Absolutely.
between
No
everybody.
communication up until this
We don't know
point.
who else is doing
Yeah.
what, unless you're going to all those meetings. But who has
I know.
time
Who
to
And
do
has
that?
time to do
In my
that?
opinion, frankly, I mean, I think yes, we do need to communicate and collaborate among the boards and commissions. I'm not willing to go to a bunch of other meetings
I know.
just to
I'm
find
like,
out
that's
what's
hard.
going on.
I try to, but
I
at the same
just, I
time,
don't have the time to do it.
I don't know how Tom Murphy does it. Actually, it's a
Yeah,
lot.
It's like his full-time job that he doesn't get paid
And I
for.
think that's why Victor got burnt out, because he had
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 meetings that he was taking.
And not only are you going to the
In
meetings, but you're having
consideration.
to spend all that time, like you do, just working on it.
Yeah, I mean, we want to be productive, and just meeting all the time is not
Right.
being productive.
It's not. No.
So I can understand where they're coming from with that, but it has nothing to do with us as far as, our. We'll continue on because we have an important agenda to, and we worked too hard to get this far. That CLG means so much to this city,
Yeah.
and it is. We're
Is
not
there
going
a
to go
way
forward,
we can,
backwards.
because given that, and if this gal from History Colorado is going to meet with the mayor, and this is a great opportunity to kind of highlight where we are, I mean, what do you have any suggestions for us as a commission about how we can, just help make the most of that visit, or what are your thoughts about our input?
Yeah.
I
you
think
never
we're
help.
doing exactly what we should be doing. It was this form that I was concerned about, the missing piece as far as processes and forms go. We're doing our public outreach as they recommend. We have our regular meetings. I feel like we're doing exactly what we're supposed to be
track.
doing. You know, she may have some items to point out to us, and I'm going to accept them.
Yeah, I'm
You
sure
know,
that's
it's-
what she's for.
Yeah, because they're the ones that, you know, make the rules, and we're here to follow them. And I feel like we're doing a good job, but I'm open to advice or any kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I think I was kind of asking the same of you, if there's anything, you know, that we could be doing differently to help you with your job, for instance.
You're doing exactly, you know, Jean has got this agenda together. If we'll probably discuss this later, but if we can all keep on our tasks and get this pulled together, make it a great event. The only thing I could say is if we could get their involvement in this,
Somehow, yeah.
maybe as a sponsor,
Even one person for
that
the-
would be
Main Street or?
No,
History
History Colorado.
Colorado.
We should write them a letter.
Just one person.
I'll
to
write
come
them a
down
letter.
and help us.
When I write all the letters to all these people,
request for sponsorship
Yeah,
because
okay.
I'm sure they will.
they
is that a grant or?
wanted to attend last year, but they couldn't. We
Oh,
did
did we?
use their facility, and they were
Right,
gracious enough to let us use it.
That's true.
I feel
Like
like that would be
physical
helpful.
sponsorship.
Probably
like
should send them a thank you that we
Input sponsorship, kind of a thing almost.
Well, this would be monetary too, because we could
Oh.
put that on our postcards, you know.
Right.
And if we have History
Won't go on the
Colorado,
post- It might go on the trifold because
okay.
Right, and we
Yeah.
can talk more, but I was
We'll talk
thinking
about
about
that.
that through timing wise, how we.
but the
We have
trifold
to-
and the program.
Keep in mind our sponsors. If we get any, that's a big deal, and we want to make sure it's clear, you know,
Right, what they're donating.
on what they're donating,
Right.
and we thank them for it.
Which I probably didn't do last year because I never sent a thank you letter to the History Museum.
Right, yeah.
Or to Tom,
and-
so
and
maybe I could do it before we start this year. I will.
Well, we learned a little bit each
She
time, it's
kept our
only our
better up for
second,
months.
attempt, so.
It went well for a first
I
event.
think so. I mean, it was modest, but.
But we should send a thank you to Jana and to the cookie lady and probably.
No, let's just go forward.
Thank you,
All right,
Cookie
go
Lady.
forward.
With the cookie lady.
Cookie Lady got paid.
Yeah, she got a check.
That's
So
right.
do we wanna move on to the echoes, are we good with?
Yeah, I
Do you
think
need
that's
anything
everything that I wanted to relay on that topic.
I will, can I just, if you need my help with any of that stuff, just let me know.
Okay, you've been very helpful thus
Yeah,
far, and I
that's
can
awesome.
Great,
take that
Shirley, thank you.
information and
I'm a good typist, so.
yeah, you did good.
That's important, well.
All
Maybe
of
I'll
those,
find a bunch of
she
typos,
put all of
who
those
knows?
pages into Word, and that's
Yeah.
a big deal.
It is a big deal, it's very time
It
consuming.
is.
Yeah.
So
Okay, Jean, can I throw it over to you to?
Okay, well, I only have,
Go
I'll have
on.
two comments, three sections. Okay, so the first section is the Main Street Board did meet on Friday and I just got word from Margie Farindelli that they are still concerned about the, more definition about what their role is supposed to be and the money amount that they might have to ask City Hall for out of their budget. And apparently, I don't know if Kim was there, but I didn't go to that meeting. But anyway, they also want a line of demarcation about what Triggers is going to be responsible for the game and the Main Street. They want to separate
That's
that.
really reasonable.
So I just wanted to ask you today about, because this ties into getting out the postcard. And I do have rates for the postcard for 1,000 of them, if you want me to copy all that. I have a quote from a company that does and we have done a lot for the tourism board. So I got a quote for the postcard. And from a company, I don't know the name.
we need
It's
to
like
get.
a U line. You have to get 2 quotes?
We got to get 3 quotes.
Well, then I only got 1. But,
I can reach out if you give
well,
me that information.
Cedar Printing wasn't, yeah, you can take a copy of that because
Even if we reach out to them and they don't respond, that's a quote.
Okay.
It's not a
Cool.
responsive quote.
Well, I
so-
tried to reach out to Cedar Printing, but he's not back in town till tomorrow.
Well,
He's
that's
out of town.
one. That's another one. So
And who else this is an online.
we
it's
could
like
do
a new print.
NB. Do they do anything?
Who?
NB Designs.
I haven't contacted any MV Designs, but we've done this for the tourism board.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah, I
not saying
think
you
you
need
could-
to do it.
Will
I'm
you
just
do it?
saying.
I will let you
I'll
do
do it,
Yeah,
yes.
don't send them that quote, but there's the.
I'll just send them the
I
information.
got 5 different, and then so I'm gonna request your permission to take the Main Street board off of the postcard.
Well, let's talk about that because that seemed like that was the simplest thing to do. So this is
Yeah.
like our postcard, our flyer, our save the date is a really preliminary kind of,
Yeah.
hey y'all, we're doing something on this
Just put it on
day.
your calendar, right?
So it's not really critical,
Critical.
but I don't want to diss them in any way. But I don't think we need to
No, I
I
talked
don't
hold
to
it
think
up
it is.
until we,
Right.
you know,
We should
figure
still
this-
get the 2 more quotes, and then if we want to work with this company, we can also get a 10% discount. It's an online account, and they have very good quality, and they're very fast.
And it's
So,
NLP.
NLP, it's one of our vendors that we use, that we've used for tourism board materials.
And the second one that was non-responsive was
Cedar printing,
Cedar.
because they're out, and I haven't even contacted. But it shows the
I
weight,
can do NV.
and I got quotes for up to 5,000 on each. So.
And this is the exact request you put out for the postcards and the flyers. So if I
Right.
take this
Don't give them
monetary
their
stuff,
price. Don't take the monetary.
Yeah,
Just tell me
just
want it
the-
for 1,000. You know.
yeah.
And make sure you have the weight of the paper and the size.
All right, I'll just take out
And if you
the.
notice that it says the front will be a gloss on the postcard and the back will be matte, so we can write
Cool.
their
And
name.
makes sense.
Even if they say they can't do it, that's still a quote to us. So.
Okay, well that's good. And these guys are good. It would only cost us $344 for 1,000 postcards, double-sided, and 500 flyers, 80 pound. And then the other thing that Georgie had us do last year was get how many city utility customers there are. So there's 4,200. So we might want to use them for a trifold, and we have to get the pound in April
Oh, inserts.
to insert.
Well, when you talk about the trifold, so we hadn't talked about this yet, but
No.
we were thinking like our final kind of list of
Yeah.
the activities and stuff. We were going to do like an insert into what or
Yeah,
Of the
that's
actual
actually, that
event-
is gonna be a
event.
whole page. It's not,
So-
well, we could do an event. Wow, that
this
would be
is
good.
kind of I
Yeah.
kind of like this. I mean, if we
Okay,
could
like
do
a 2-part, smaller.
sure or
That's a good
smaller
idea.
maybe,
No, that size, like you said.
but that wouldn't necessarily
We'll
go
have to get a
into
quote
a
on
utility
that.
bill though.
No.
So
Yeah, I
This
think
is-
they have some
They have
specifications.
like less than, they have a, it's only I think it's only the size of your utility bill. Has to be the same size, but I don't even know if we want
And
to
that's
do that.
probably just a 8 by 11.
Yeah, just about 8 by 11. It's
okay,
like a
yeah,
place-
yeah.
Yeah, so it has to be a little bit lighter so they can fold it and put it in the utility bill. I think it'd be about 70 pound or 50 pound. I don't know if they, but I got an 80 pound quote for that.
But
Yeah.
would we do an additional flyer
Well, we
or our
could.
main? I don't
If you
know,
want.
what do we want to call it?
Yeah,
The last product, work product.
well, I had a
would be
program.
program.
Like a
program.
Is that,
Program.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it should be that, this.
I like that. I mean, I think
Okay.
it's fancy,
And
but
that's
it's
the-
nice.
That's
Yeah,
the
that
last piece is the program.
Program, yeah, so that would be a good, I'm glad you brought that. I forgot about that, but that was great.
Well, I forget about all the stuff that you.
Well, I already donated a whole page.
She-
That's my
Wow.
matching
I would
Do you
need-
want to
sponsorship.
look at this?
Okay.
But I'll go find out how much that costs.
She,
Let's
yeah,
sell it over.
I would need your, when you find out how much
Yeah.
that costs, let's just do that whole quote thing. And you
Okay.
know, with the specs, I
Yeah.
wanna use
Right.
the same
Well, that makes
specs
sense.
request.
Right, yeah, okay, but can we get only the postcard and flyer quote?
Yeah,
at
I'm
the
gonna
end
do
of
that
the
one separately
Right.
first.
And then you all agree to take off Main Street, and I talked to Margie, and she said she understands. They'll understand if we don't have their logo on the postcard, because like you said, it's only a preliminary thing, and we wanna make sure they're defined, and
What do you guys think?
is that okay with you all?
Yeah.
Do we don't need a vote.
fine.
I don't
Makes
think that's a
sense.
big,
Okay,
big
so-
thing.
It isn't, but it is in a way, I mean, I don't wanna step on anybody's toes, and that's why I think
Right.
taking off.
No,
and just
we're
tell them-
glad you can take the lead because you know more about paper and.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's-
a lot
I mean,
of
it's not me, and actually my husband did all that for me yesterday, so I'm gonna thank him.
Oh,
And
thanks, Stephen.
so then we can go on to the
Well, do you real
agenda.
quick before you go? So the things that we're asking Main Street and or Kim Schultz to do are what again?
Well, oh, yeah, that's a good question. Well, one was just to get any, if we can find vintage baseball uniforms, or she could help us. Just Kim. It's really Triggers. Maybe that's what Triggers should help us do. To
So that's
find,
what I'm a little confused
Yeah.
about. With
what do you think? I mean, it's more on, I want you to take more leadership on that Sunday, if you can have the time, Derek,
Well,
because,
didn't she mention something about getting old uniforms or?
yeah, she said she'd try to help us, and we have to go out to the coal miners museum at Cokedale But I'll meet with with Kim again. She was out of state, so
Well, if you need me to drop by Cokedale, I drive by it every
yeah, maybe
day.
you could see what
See,
they have.
I-
Take some pictures. I don't have time to go to Cokedale right
I
now.
stopped by the library and talked to Tom Porter and got all the articles
Oh,
of
good.
old Trinidad, but there's not much on Trinidad. It's more Cyprus
Cyprus and the coal
and
camps.
Honey,
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
but there's no names for
No
the team.
Well, Elizabeth sent me one. You ought to send that to Derek about that camp and plant
Oh,
at Primero. There's one about
But-
Primero. But you're right.
Through the research, what I found was we had a very famous sports writer here called Ina Young.
Oh,
She was the
really?
first female
Right.
sports writer.
Wow.
And she actually went to the World Series in Chicago versus Detroit
Wow.
and sent back a wire to Trinidad for this World Series game, which a lot of people went out in front of the Courier
Huh.
and listened to the game.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's
my thinking
cool.
was like if we can reenact or not necessarily reenact, but bring that back
Yeah.
Right.
somehow. I mean,
I love
That's
that
what I
idea.
want to do.
That would be good at the 12
That's
to 1
exactly.
if we did that. Reenactment of the, what year was that?
I think it was like 1910. I have to
Wow.
look
That's a
again,
cool
but
idea to honor her, Ina Young. She was from Trinidad?
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Wow.
I've heard that. I've heard of
Never
her,
heard
but
of
I
her.
didn't know that story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It was like, I mean, you could read the papers and South Colorado, the first of
Big
its
thing.
kind to
Love it.
send back complete wires of the World Series.
Wow.
Wow.
Interesting.
Not wires,
Yeah.
but what was it like? Not I can't
Yeah,
think of the
yeah.
Play-by-plays?
Play-by-play.
like through the not telephones, but
Like
The
the
first-
telegraph almost.
Dee,
yeah,
dee, dee,
telegraph.
dee.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's supposed to
I know, I
score.
can kind of hear it in my mind.
But
Chicago's
everybody's
gonna
sitting
maybe
in
one
front
of
of
the
the
first
newspaper.
radios, maybe even or something. Huh.
Radios
Maybe
were
we can do
just
that
coming
12
around
to
by
1,
then, yeah.
Between the 12 to 1 hour. I only had 2 hours that I put on the agenda for
Mhm.
our Sunday,
And that's what I seen. She said, what, 3 to 5 innings or
well, I was thinking 3, yeah.
3?
5 seems like a lot to me. And what if we got people from the city boards to volunteer to be team members and
Right.
we could
Or
have all the city
players.
What a way to advertise our event. To be the players, we asked, like, you and Carlos could be our team members for the
Oh, no,
historical preservation.
Wait a minute.
I don't know, we could just send out
That or I was thinking like first responders.
the first responders, we could send
That's
it
a
out
cool
to
idea.
city,
Even if
and
we,
even
like-
high school kids and junior college.
If we got like the fire department involved, we can get their history and display
Yeah,
their
fire-
history there.
Exactly.
True. That's a good idea.
So we need
Involve
to
more
start
people. Yeah.
now getting these people signed up for the game, and I think three innings should be enough, don't you? I mean, it's only an
Yeah.
So
hour.
about how many people do
Yeah.
we need to play this
24.
3-inning game?
Yeah, 12 and 12.
12 and 12. 12 on each
So
team.
24 total.
Right. So we have to go price the uniforms.
I mean, would we
She-
need to play a whole game? We could
No,
just
right.
go
Three
through
innings.
3. Yeah, okay.
We have to do 3
Just
because
enough to get a script together,
Mhm.
and then maybe
we physically play the
go
game.
through the
People
what
go
it
up to
would
bat.
was like.
No, people go up to bat.
Yeah.
We have an exhibition team. People are actually in the field. And
Right.
You got that right. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
but
Well,
they're not going
I'm
to be
hoping-
excellent players.
But I'm hoping that
I don't
it is
think that
exhibition
matters,
and
does it?
that they're allowing bloopers or something, you know, to
Oh,
make it
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, that's a
like
good idea. Ooh,
like a
yeah.
Globetrotters type thing, you know.
Oh yeah, they're
I mean, they're a professional team. We're
So we
gonna
need
put
people who would like to can perform, kind of, right? It could be.
Who
Yeah.
can
Make it a
drop
lot
the-
more
make it-
entertaining,
make
for
it
sure.
funny. Well, that sounds okay, boy. Well, let's
Or we
meet. We need to meet together again. But
Mhm.
yeah, to
Yeah. Okay.
But that's my feeling is that triggers would help us do all that. All we need from Main Street is maybe $1,000 to help us promote it for local magazine like the World Journal and the Trinidad
And maybe it's
Chronicle.
just me because
Yeah,
I
it's-
was like thinking when we went into this, and I just didn't have it in my head that we were asking Mainstream for anything except
I
for
think they
Main
offered,
Street.
didn't they?
Except for, so she did offer.
She did offer.
Okay.
Kim
So
offered
that
in
just
our
went
last
over my
meeting.
head. So I just like, what?
She said,
Why
well, we
are
wanna get our
and there's a
She
a
offered.
deadline to get this stuff together
I
though. She
know.
has an ordering deadline.
yeah, she said
She
by
had the ordering deadline for hats.
March, right? Or
Well, it was
Something
February.
early
It was
March.
next month. I thought it was next month.
Yeah.
Was it February?
Because I was thinking we would get a hat that said HPC and HMS and get that as a sale hat. And then we would contribute that for her Trinidad Community Foundation fundraiser for baseball
Yeah, 'cause we
equipment,
still need to talk about that.
which is on the agenda,
Mm.
which is what,
Okay,
so we need to
anyway,
clarify
yeah.
that.
And then like,
You're
what
right.
about like food and stuff? Like, are we trying to go with historic
Yeah, food truck.
prices?
Oh, no.
You know,
They'll
like
have food
5
out there.
cent hot dogs or something. You know what I mean?
If we can get a
Yeah,
sponsor
I'd love
to
to have a
validate
5
it,
cent
yeah, if we
hot
can-
dog.
Well, that
I
would be
could
kind of
probably,
fun if we could
I
get
could probably talk to my boss.
sponsors.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
He's looking for
For, yeah, the
things
unit.
to sponsor at
There you
Walmart.
Good idea.
There
And
you go.
I'll mention this too real quick because I know we need to stay on your agenda,
That's
June. So when I spoke to, I'm gonna forget her name, Carla Torres, maybe?
Yeah,
From
New
the
Elk
chamber.
And the chamber, yeah.
And she works for New Elk. And I know we had a little bit of a discussion, or maybe it was just in my head about
Mm.
this, but so because I mentioned the baseball game, you know, and the coal camps.
They
and that
have
whole
coal
thing.
miners up there.
And she's really down with it. She's like, well,
Oh,
just
good.
let us know. But
Okay.
I just have a little bit of hesitancy. I don't know. What's your gut, y'all? On I mean, having
On
New
involved
Elk
with the coal
involved
company?
with that.
I think involving New Elk means we have more potential
Sponsorship.
baseball players. I don't
Coming
know
out.
about maybe
Maybe from high
potential sponsorship too.
I think it's a great idea.
She runs-
I mean,
okay,
I'm
well,
not
she-
into
Well,
coal
we have to
mining
get
at
with the
all, but
triggers
why not?
first before we, because she
Right.
said make sure you come to her with the sponsors
Right.
to make sure
exactly.
it doesn't.
Doesn't
exactly.
conflict. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a
that's
good point.
true.
We
Coordinate
really need
with
to
Kim.
coordinate with Kim. Maybe she goes to them. If
Yes, maybe.
That's a good idea. You think?
But I'll
You
just
know?
throw that out. So am I saying her name correctly? Is it Carla Torres?
Carla Torres, yeah.
And yeah, she was very nice. But if you guys think
We'll
it's
get back
cool,
with her.
then I think just coordinate with Kim on that.
All right, so maybe by our February 27th meeting, we'll have a more detailed definition. Me and you will meet together and go see Kim and go see Carla. Does that work with you?
Mhm.
Okay. Because
And
I'm
I-
out of town from Tuesday.
Somebody told me
from
about
Thursday these days.
the fire chief down on Arizona
Mm.
that he'd be willing to.
Okay, so the fire department and the
Participate.
police.
Mhm.
I know some policemen might too, so you're right. The first responders and then
I
the
could talk to the
TSJC
chief.
or TJC. So we'll get that defined more. But let's go on to
Yeah.
our Saturday is our big day, really.
Yeah, let's talk about
And
Saturday.
I'd like to start mailing these letters out. So Elizabeth and I, remember you talked to Dana and Chris Smith said he wasn't really sure she could be the keynote, which is be 9:00.
Well, I can talk just briefly about. So I'll talk
Yeah.
about the keynote, and we'll just go from there. And that would be, we'll definitely invite the mayor and city council. Mayor say a few words. And so here is, if we could just pass these around. I think I have enough for everybody. It's just a two-sided. This is a guy, Calvin Smith, as you can see there on your agenda from Trinidad, from the college. So Chris Smith is the one that referred me to him, and he's a professor and all around really knowledgeable guy. I think he's an archaeologist. I spoke to him on the phone. He's got a lot of credentials, but he's also just, seems like a really down-to-earth person, community-minded, all of that. So he would be our keynote.
Great.
And Chris Smith, let's just take his name off this, if you don't mind.
No, that's
Where's that?
This is on the first
Right
page
here.
of our.
Sorry, this was on the
June
June
3rd.
9 to
June 3rd.
9:45.
Yeah.
9:45.
Okay, so take off Chris because
So no update
boy,
on
he
the
has a
Fox
lot of
West there.
credentials. You're right. My God.
Well, if we can, when I talked to Chris, he said he didn't even know if he was going to be in town.
Oh, okay.
At this time, so he mostly was telling me about other people
That's
that
good.
we could invite. So that's what led me to this gentleman, and I've never heard him speak, but again, Chris spoke really highly of him. He's really
Does a lot.
has a lot of credentials, and
Expands
I
into
think
geology, yeah.
he's been here for about 4 or 5 years, I think, in the community, and so he's got the date. He said he would do it.
Oh, good.
We had talked before about trying to have this be an endowed sort of keynote thing going on. I'm kind of waffling on that just because you know, we have to name it something. We have to go to the person and
Maybe
have
later.
them. You know, maybe
Yeah,
we'll do
next
that
year or
next
something.
year. But we could just have him be a keynote. We'll figure out what, you know, if we can get a title before we get our program finalized. But I just wanted to share this with you all and let you know that was happening. That's all I have on that.
Just to confirm, is this his name Calvin Smith, or who is this gentleman?
It's Calvin Smith.
Okay, of the TSC. Okay.
Yes.
Great.
I agree with that. I think he'd be a broad, he has a really,
Involved the university somehow.
yeah, the Loudon, and he's got the influence and the, like the Loudon Heinrichs, and boy, that's a great resource. I'm glad. So shall we go on to 9:45 and the storytelling, which I implemented based on our last meeting, that we wanted to have more storytelling type people.
Yeah.
And we just kind of labeled it 2x2 style. So like for the first hour and 15 minutes, we could still get maybe, we don't know yet, Greg Friesen, who's the architectural company that's redoing Fox Theater.
So that's it.
And he'd be the present day, and then Michael Sawaya would be the past, who was the previous owner.
That's a cool idea.
And you helped me get this all developed. And then if we bring East Street Culinary Academy, we'd have Paul Glenn and maybe some former East Street students. I saw a statistic that they had 80,000 students go through that elementary school. So I was going to talk to Bonnie Aaron to locate somebody that went through that school. It's pretty young, or when it finally, maybe when it closed or something. And then we have Christina Russell, who is in the Fox building now. And I thought we could encourage Penny Saidi, who's retiring from the Main Street Board after almost 10 years of service. She owns that Blue Crate building. So we could have like a new building that's looking for funding to get that building in a context with Christina. I don't know. That might not work together, but I don't know. But Penny Saidi, we should at least give her and Kim an award for being so involved with Main Street for 20, almost 10 years, both of them.
Wow.
Yeah, there's
Or not an award, but a recognition that
Yeah.
whenever we introduce this. And you are thinking of introducing, or all of us can take turns introducing each different panel, don't you think? I think it would be, I don't want to introduce anybody because I just want to make sure it's floating.
And did
I'll be
you
there.
talk to Paul Glenn? Because
I have talked to him a little bit, but not
oh
about
well,
the
he
date.
came back by and said he was going to keep that date, and
Okay,
he was
good.
going to talk
Good
to you
for you.
about firming it up.
Oh, good.
And I did call, they have a new company managing it, so I did get a hold of them in Denver, this red something, they just,
Red Line,
red line.
which I thought was kind of a weird choice for you know what redlining is, right?
What is red line? When you take a drug?
Like dying, isn't it?
No, redlining
that's
is what they
When
used to do to
changed
keep
district.
minorities out of certain places
Oh, I never
in,
heard
Oh, I didn't even know
in
about that.
cities. Yeah, they would. The lenders and the people that had the money would discriminate against people of color so that they couldn't move into certain areas, and it's called redlining. And I talked to the
Never
gal. She
heard of
was
that.
at
And they're
some
managing.
event for Dana recently or a couple months ago, and I was like, what about? She was really nice, and I'm like, I said, really, red line? She says, yeah, it's kind of a weird choice.
It's a gallery that's it's going to be managing the rental of the spaces to
Denver.
rent and the culinary. So they're out of Denver.
So on this segment, so I'm just trying to conceptualize how it's going to look because I think it's a really great, format. So we're having like sort of the past and the present. They're talking to each other. Do we kind of set some sample questions and
Yeah,
then
like they
each
did.
duo or each
Yeah.
whatever would be
I think that's a
answering
great
those
idea.
questions?
Yeah, that's a
like
good
Like,
Open
like a-
questions.
like a panel moderator.
Yeah, just
like
to let them know what we're
Right. Well, I
We
mean,
sent it
interested
to
in.
questions to start off, and then
Right.
open
Yeah.
it up to the audience.
That's how they did it at St. Louis, remember?
Yeah,
A
so we
panel
have.
a
So
member.
are they all up there at the same time, or are they
Maybe just
Seems
rotating?
like they might be
Well, I
sitting
think
at
we
the
need a
table at the
moderator,
same
probably.
time and then.
Yeah, maybe we could
Call
have
them
them
on.
circular,
like
semicircle.
a semicircle and a moderator
Yeah, and
and a few prepared questions, but we'd have to
send them in advance, right?
that would be less
That's a good
of
idea.
being on the spot and just standing up there and
Right.
expecting them to
It's kind
come
of how
up
they
with
did
an
it at that
entire speech.
San Luis thing. I think
Yeah.
maybe 6 is a lot, but I'm not sure about if Christina Russell fits in that with
Krista. Yeah.
Krista, because she's more of the modern day, which is good, and then Penny's really the one that is gonna get moving on her building.
It's a separate building though,
Yeah,
right?
it's a separate building, but I
We
don't know.
can,
We can just keep the East Street School and the first two, and then maybe put them in a separate.
yeah, maybe
breakout.
that would make more sense and time-wise, and then we
Yeah,
can figure
just
out how
have
to
4
incorporate
people.
Krista and Penny someplace else.
Maybe in that breakout panel, you can have 4 breakout panels. And then I tried to put in the 1045 with local landmarking, Shirley and Sherry Sabu,
Who's T. Murphy?
Tom,
Okay,
because
I thought
he,
so, but it was
Tom
Murphy.
Murphy, and anybody else. Maybe
Jessica.
What's
Oh,
Jessica's
I
last
can't
name?
figure out her last name from the library.
Oh.
What's her last name?
Jeez.
I can't. I looked it up
Jean?
on
Jessica, who's the director at the Carnegie.
because these are all places we've landmarked of city buildings.
I'll
Except
let
for
you know.
Yeah.
And then the Wheeler Monument, Carlos, I thought Alice Shoemaker might be good with you on there to talk about all the, but it doesn't go with the landmark, the Wheeler Monument. I don't know if you want to get another team together I'm just trying to include Allison somewhere. And if you have other people that are involved with more of them, you can
Mapping
pick your
kind of
own.
thing.
You can pick your own team up there. You can get more people, like somebody from the state maybe, or I don't know.
We talked about
Yeah.
Georgetown, maybe trying to.
Yeah, I still have. I've sent him an email and he hasn't responded yet, so I'm hoping he responds. But that was just last week, so hopefully he responds. But I did talk to the guy from CDOT about doing anything because that is on the CDOT right of way,
Yeah.
and he said that he was the person to talk to. I just told him that we weren't 100% sure what we wanted to do with it, but we had, some. I just wanted to know if I was talking to the right person. And he said, "Yeah, I'm the right person." So once you guys figure out what you really want to do,
I really want to
let
know
me
where it
know.
used to be.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
I mean, it's in that area. I just,
Well, good. Well, if you
like I
can
said, I don't know.
brainstorm and kind of that would be a breakout session. And I got all the
I'm
rooms
sure.
here.
Somebody in the audience might be able to help too.
All right.
They may have CDOT may have some historical information
Yeah.
about that.
Well, I really want to
Remember
get
that one
either the
lady
guy that did that paper
that
about
did
the
the paper?
stone.
Yes. What
that
was
would
his
be way
name?
cool.
Is he still alive?
That's who I sent the email to.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm
who
hoping
did
he
it. Hoping he was
contacts
alive.
me.
I
So
remember that.
I don't know. He didn't. He was just
Right.
just a regular
Reporter.
person that decided to look into it and did a lot of study, and then the
That's
BLM
somebody
decided
fun
to
have
put
on
out
the
his paper.
If he were
So
able.
Right.
yeah, so I'm hoping he responds. I mean, again, I just did last week, so I'm hoping.
Because that really hits on, Chris, I wanted to check in with you too about, we keep using the word storytelling, which I think we all agree is like just integral to this whole process. Do we feel like we're really hitting that with what we're doing so far? I mean, when you talk, Carlos, about maybe bringing this person in, this is just a regular person who is interested in whatever and kind of what they did and just tell a story. That would be enough. I mean, that would be a cool
exactly.
session just by itself. You wouldn't have to do anything
Right?
fancy, but do you have any input on that, Chris, as far as the storytelling piece? Do you feel like we're hitting all that?
I feel like it's an interesting piece on history. So it fits right in. It's not a building, but we include monuments and
Culture and
Monuments are part of
Yeah.
monuments
the
of
whole
culture is their baseball.
we
We've got
haven't
about 3
included
categories
many-
now.
parks
not
here.
only that, but
Oh,
isn't there a dress
The
Oh, you
fashion,
mean the fashion
Fashion
show?
Fashion show at lunch, yes. I have good
Culture.
news about that.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The
That's
venue,
right.
what people wore to the venues during the
I read that. I was
1850s.
excited. I'm like, wait, what?
Well, it's a rare, I don't know how I could well, I'll talk about that.
So
but
we'll take
briefly.
Allison Shoemaker doesn't fit there.
No, she doesn't.
We just put
Okay.
Carlos and let him go
Yeah.
with
You're
whatever.
gonna build
I'm gonna
Build
figure
your own
out that
team.
one on.
Yeah.
So I will
Get
get
a
back on that one.
moderator, like we could have a moderator at every little
Yeah.
panel discussion
Sounds
too,
like
to keep it moving.
we
'Cause
still
that's
need
about
to
an
firm
hour.
up
So
our
I'm just thinking,
schedule.
like, I'll be the moderator and Carlos will be the moderator
For
and
his.
present or whatever, and present as well, but
Okay.
kind of moderate our little group or something.
And then I added a bunch of people for this resource tellers because Sandy Dolock was going to represent Walsenburg area, Tom Potter, Carnegie, Yolanda Romero for the Southern Colorado Mining and the Latino Project, and then Kathy Williams, Paula Manini, who is the former History Colorado.
Yeah.
She was there 10 years.
Yeah.
Is really knowledgeable. We have a whole story in one of our magazines about the Buffalo Soldier, and this Haskell Hooks is the one that's trying to get a monument to this Kathy Williams, who was the Buffalo Soldier. So that's in the making.
Monument.
They're
for
trying to get
Buffalo
one here in
Soldier?
town.
Yeah, he is.
Well, there's one already at the History Museum, but I know I've met him.
Did you
and
meet
he's an
Haskell?
interesting
I haven't
fellow,
met him, but we
yeah.
talked to him. He wants to write a story for a magazine. So, and then when you go to Temple Aaron, I mean, Randy and Ronald Rubin graduated with me and Raton, and
Oh, wow.
their mother, Catherine Rubin, passed away only a few years ago, 2018, and they have been really, as you know, doing the Temple Aaron. So
Yeah, I haven't
We
heard
have-
from them. The city wanted to know
I don't
why
know what
we
they're
haven't
doing.
been in contact with them.
So I don't know who's on that committee, but they got History Colorado funding recently, didn't they, for
Well, I think they're still getting their national
status? That's right.
landmark
Status.
Registered, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they could because they're in the district, are they not?
Yeah, they're in the Corazon District.
Yeah, well, that already sets a national designation for them.
Oh, okay.
So most of all the buildings in the district can't get national designation because they're already recognized nationally by being
Oh, I
in the
didn't know
district.
Oh, I
Wow.
didn't know
Yeah.
I sure didn't know that.
So that was that. I mean, on the other list that I've been putting together, it actually shows like from the survey that they did in 2011, it does show each building and shows whether there can be national designation, state designated, or locally designated. So, and that's where I'm going to pull the list so we can start sending stuff for our local designation. But that's a big thing with the buildings in the historic district is they're already recognized nationally.
that. I didn't know.
So they couldn't get their own national
Plans.
building.
It's
Yeah.
pretty strict.
Because they're in the district already. Yeah, you're already in the
I didn't know
national.
that
It's
myself.
already
I wonder
protected.
if everybody in the district knows that.
Yeah, I wonder. Where did you read that in the national parks?
It's part of all of
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have all of the
Surveys.
stuff that I've
I
been
almost
looking
wonder
at.
if so. Well, I don't want to get too astray of this. So the local landmarking process. I mean, we want to talk about that for sure. But this notion or this information about the Corazon seems like it needs to get out. Or is there
Yeah.
some place we could weave that into that first?
Sure.
Maybe
Yeah, we
include
should
that
definitely
in
be talking about like the district, like the stuff that we have like here as far as the district, and then maybe even some of like just
Well, isn't that why these
bring
other
up
people
about
are
some of
here?
the local
Jessica,
buildings that are
Tom Murphy,
national.
These people are going to talk about their
Their
process.
Right.
To talk about the historic district.
But this, can we also include this
I'm gonna
so
do that.
that
Kind of like a learning process on
Yeah.
the historical process and
Give me that flyer there.
what the
We can put
district
that in the
means,
flyer.
what the state.
Can you give us that
flyer?
No, that one.
And
We
I'm
could
sure
put
there
it in
was a
there.
history
Maybe a way of
about the
putting it.
Corazon, naming the
Yeah.
Corazon
Oh,
district.
yeah, I have all
I'll,
that.
oh, you have that.
You'll check. Oh, you already
So-
have that? We could put something like that in a brief form here, somewhere.
And then that would be
Like an
part of
inside.
talking about landmarking.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
I
that's,
see what-
that's
That
all
makes
I'm
a lot of
saying.
sense,
Good.
really.
Okay, Colorado.
Just so they're aware, right?
Corazon, so it's everybody in the Corazon.
Yeah, I mean that still opens them up to local designation, so they're not locally designated. So, but for as far as national designation, if you're within the historical district, you're nationally recognized.
So who would talk about that in that segment, Carlos?
Well, he's got the other one going on.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't
I mean,
wanna
I
put-
can. Sure.
Yeah,
I would
sure.
say, I mean,
She's
either
doing
that
it.
or
Sure, if you're good, if you feel like you
Oh, sure.
got that, then
we have
Yeah.
one of our
Yeah.
History Colorado.
Okay.
If we have
Oh, yeah,
somebody coming in
from
for
History
that.
Colorado, that would be good too. And bring
Boy,
them.
would that ever be
Wouldn't
good.
that
Good
be
idea.
great?
That's a great
Mm.
idea.
yeah.
Yeah, let's get the lady who's coming to do our.
Hey,
Yeah,
Let's
we can even
invite
talk
her.
to her, see if she
Yeah.
could come through, if she
Let's
can,
do
if
that.
she could send a
That would be
a
wonderful.
representative that can talk about
Good.
that kind of whole thing. I mean,
Boy,
I don't
would
know.
that
Yeah,
would be
I'd
great.
rather it be somebody that's an accredited planner or
Yes,
a historic in
Staff.
historic preservation.
that's a good idea.
It would be
Because,
ideal.
I mean, I still have questions about.
Well, we
I mean,
did
I
that
kind of
Lisa,
know that.
right? She's historic preservation.
Right, but I
She's
think it's
a
better for somebody from
historic
Eastern Colorado.
planner.
Oh, you're talking about somebody from Historic Colorado?
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
Somebody that's accredited.
Heck yeah.
What were you saying, Carla?
Go
I
ahead.
mean, I kind of know the processes of the designation stuff, and I mean now I know that there's national, there's a state, and there's a local, but I'm still have questions on that. I mean, I do know now that the local or that the district protects the buildings
Everything
within
in
it
it.
for national status, and they're not open to be nationally recognized as a building itself, but they're already in the district. But there's still a bunch of other questions I have. So I wouldn't say I'm like know all of the whole thing on this,
Not the subject
but
matter.
yeah, but I'm learning more about it as the days go, and I'm learning all this kind of stuff. But I think if we could get somebody that is a expert in
Speak
this,
to it.
and
I
this is
wonder-
their job, like this is probably.
Would you be our
something-
backup in case?
Oh, I mean, of course.
Okay.
Or
But-
if that section could be like a Q&A, in other words,
Yeah.
you have a
So are we gonna be in
panel.
the same room then?
No,
Because you got
three
your own
different
thing going on at this time.
If
I
Shirley,
don't
if that, what do you think about that section?
Yeah,
being-
just a
you're kind of the
Q&A.
lead on that, right?
Oh.
So it'd be like a Q&A. In other words, you'd have subject matter experts yourself, however that looks, and then you'd have people that asked questions of them, like, well, what about a local landmark? Isn't that going to
Maybe
make
they
my,
give a little short
some of the
presentation and then we
objections
have a
that
Q&A.
people
Yeah.
have
Short
about
presentation.
landmark?
Right.
Each
Well,
of those people are gonna give a
going
short
back to that
presentation. If not, it'll
landmarking-
be a panel.
Sorry, what?
Go ahead.
Going back to that landmarking process, you have Tim Murphy on here, and I thought it would be a great idea if
How you for?
Tom
Tom.
Murphy's
Oh, Tom.
if Tom Murphy's accountant, who he's trying to locate right now, maybe we could get some questions answered about taxes.
See, I
and
think
tax
we need
credits.
that so much, really
Yeah.
nitty gritty stuff, not just you can get tax credits, because
How
I don't
does that
still
work?
fully
I
understand
don't know
that.
it.
Me either.
Yeah, but
And-
he's finding out.
yes.
He's going through the process,
Yes.
and you could take those tax credits
You can
and you can
focus on
sell
that.
them to other people. Like he's going to
That
reach
is so
out
strange.
to, credits. I know
Yeah,
he goes. He
funny.
can't use them all, so he can take those and give them to someone else that can use
I
them.
didn't know that.
So
But that's
Yeah,
also
that'd be
really
interesting.
specialized, and we want to be, thoughtful
I
about
think
how
that's a
what kind
good
of
idea.
information we present. But perhaps that person is someone from
He
History
talks about that
Colorado
topic.
who really knows that
Yeah.
stuff. Could also be that.
either
I
that
think
or
that's
a
really
tax
important.
accountant that has a specialty in that field.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
idea. To put it in that room with that.
So
sure,
that
CPA.
segment might be bigger, longer than.
We think.
Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Well, I just have a question off topic, but
Okay.
kind of on topic. But, like, do we have a space to create? Like, secure?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Is that where we're gonna have this?
Mhm.
Yes, and we have this. Here's the model here,
We do
They're
need to
different
do a
room.
walkthrough at some point.
and we
kind
do
of
need to
figure
get
out-
with Margie because she wants us to really isolate and tell us what
Yes.
she wants, what time,
Yes.
and we haven't done that yet because we're just
Yes.
still planning.
Yes.
But that's some of the rooms I thought we could use. The court. Well, what was that?
And we're
It's called
trying
the
to do
conference
kind of.
room. The conference room, and then there's
We're
two.
trying to do kind of like the style of last year's
Yeah. there's-
Echoes, or not Echoes.
Well, no, it'll be a little bit more. It's more.
How
a
it's
lot
different?
more
Or
extensive.
we're gonna follow like, okay, this is going on here.
Yes.
Not everybody goes somewhere else.
Well, the
Break
first
split up.
session will be everybody stays for that first panel, right? All right, Elizabeth, at 9:45 to 10:30. Everybody stays for Greg Friesen, which is Fox West and East Street Academy. Then 10:45 we have 3 different rooms and breakout.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So we can go to
So
whatever
people can
one we want.
choose where to go, right? But our staff, and I wonder maybe Derek would be the good one to coordinate that resource where we have a resource room with all these people. I mean,
Well,
or
So what is
Elizabeth.
that? What are you talking about there?
Well, let me
Resource
tell
development.
you.
That's
What
a
are we
good
talking
question.
about?
This is a good segue for that. I'm not sure about that section. I do
Yeah.
think we need to develop it. We need to figure out kind of what are we really talking about here. To me, it's like really, it's like
Maybe that's
community-based storytelling. It's really what people are doing locally. You talk about Haskell Hooks, Sandy Dolak, and I'm not necessarily wanting her to talk about Huerfano County, but she's done so much, with her foundation and bringing older adults into the storytelling. So she's just done all this all this stuff in her community that I think would be really great for us to hear about. Tom Potter, look what he does. He's such a resource here in our area. So I'm not sure what this
Where
looks
that
like.
fits, yeah.
Maybe it's just them saying what they've done. You know, it's just as
And
simple
maybe it
as
goes
that.
up in that table area where we have,
Well,
or I don't know.
I don't know.
Give them a
You
resource
mean physically, where does
Physically.
it go? Uh-huh.
so they can have a space and have their
Yeah.
materials out and people can come on.
So the two options are sit here and listen to the Christy
Local
Rogers or
landmark.
whoever we select, or go on a tour.
No, that's not till the
Where?
afternoon.
No,
We haven't got there yet.
Oh,
We're still on the 10:45.
We're still way up
We're
here.
still on
Way
10:45.
up.
We haven't even gone to lunch
Okay,
yet.
let's-
We're still trying to talk about this resource tower.
Well, let's
So
Right.
what,
we're
that's
trying
to
to.
Let's
be
only have-
determined. So
yeah,
we'll
let's
still
just
work on
drop
this
out.
one because
Yeah.
we can't figure it out right now.
To be
So,
determined, yeah.
and
Let's
I know,
do 3, and let's add Christy Russell and Penny Saidi to that group of resource people.
And that's for,
And that's from 10:45 to 12. So we only have 2 breakout sessions. That might be better, so that
Oh,
people
really?
don't have so much choice.
so they have an hour and 15 minutes to talk. You have an hour and 15 minutes to talk on the Wheel of Money with
Yeah,
Sure.
With your
There's
buddy.
tons of
And then
information
local
I could
landmark.
say on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially
So
if we
let's
have a
do
Eastern
that. I
Colorado
agree with you,
person.
Elizabeth. That's a great idea to put that in a different place or somewhere. Or
well, I'm not
time.
necessarily. I mean, we don't have to get into the weeds about it now. I'm just saying
but
that.
these are just such great resources. I mean, our community
No, I
is
do
so-
want to keep this breakout session.
Okay, keep that
if we
breakout.
can.
All right.
But it just needs
'Cause I'm
more
like, that
development.
sounds
Yeah,
just
let's develop it
like a
later.
lot of really
Okay.
good
Let's just
people.
go through the 2 other options.
Yeah,
the 2
let's
other
go.
times.
Let's go.
12:30 to 1:30. I have the box lunch, and that could be the patio area because that has a great outdoor tables and the Decades Fashion Show. And I just happened to meet this Coletta Sheldricks, who has Gypsy Moon Kisses. She was a former Wilhelmina model and put on all these fashion shows. And she wants to get with Allie England, who is Main Street Live, to get costumes or period clothing and find models and train them and develop a really nice hour-long, maybe 10 people only.
And she would take the lead on that.
And she would take the lead. If we
All
pay
right.
her a little bit, I mean, that would be maybe one of our
Expenses.
From Main
Expenses.
Street Live. Okay.
well, for Allie and for
I mean,
C. Sheldricks, because they're actually going
They
to
have
train the models and have
costumes.
special times. We would borrow the costumes and they would find people to fit those costumes.
What is our total budget for the
Well,
Echoes?
at 6,500.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and that would be, and we put in for 4 honorariums for presenters at 500.
And that's
We could
included
reduce
in the
that.
total of 6,500.
We had 2,000 for presenters. I mean, we don't have to pay them that much, but I mean that's a lot of work. They're going to pre-train and find the models and make sure they have the right
It would-
makeup on.
it wouldn't be open to the public.
Yeah, it'll be open to anybody that
This is
registers.
public.
For
And are we going to charge? Are we going to do maybe a donation-based admission
well, we
fee?
could do a donation. We had 50 people. We had a registration fee of 50 people at $25. So people that
I
came.
don't want to charge any more than $10.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put 10. So then we
We
have
should start out with and see what happens.
$10 registration fee.
And I want it to be a donation.
And then donation.
Yeah, I'd be.
No,
That's a good idea.
Oh, $10 registration.
Even
For
if
the
we
entire
donated it
event,
to the-
or
I would love if it was just free
I
and we
would
did
prefer
some
to
kind
be
of like
free.
raffle or drawing
I would
for
prefer to
something
be
or
free
something and to
myself.
do something like that. Just
Oh,
because I think
Double
this is just important for the whole
But
We have to know
community.
the number of people if we're going to provide the luncheon. And we have money
Yeah,
for
I,
lunch.
I
So we have
then-
pre-registration.
But it
if
is-
anything we can
but
cut that out.
But here's the
or
argument.
register for
It's
lunch.
a community event.
Yeah.
Right.
We have received funding from the city, which
Okay.
taxpayers ostensibly already
Mhm.
pay for.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess I
I'm
personally
with you.
would rather not charge
Okay.
anything,
Yeah,
but
me
I hear you. I think we were talking about in our CLG, there was something about generating revenue. I don't
It's a
know.
big confusing.
I think being a donation thing would be awesome, and then
Donation.
also maybe even having a drawing. We could do a drawing thing during the
For
fashion
gifts, you mean,
show.
for like prizes, drawing for prizes.
Yeah, I don't know,
Huh.
maybe
Get
some
gifts
kind of
donated or get
yeah,
people to
maybe
donate.
Huh.
if we
I was
get some
thinking of
like
a basket
historical
auction.
gifts or like I don't know some if
Basket. People could donate and they could draw. That's an idea.
yeah or
That's
just
what
have
we
local
should
some of the local
Or
people
or a
maybe-
around
historical outfit.
don't donate
Or a-
donate just
yeah.
whatever
Or
they
an
have.
auction.
Or an auction.
Or
Well,
an
You mean a
auction.
silent auction during the
Mhm.
silent auction. That
Yeah.
might be the best way.
Silent auctions
That's a
are
good idea.
easy.
That's, I think, fairly easy to administer. In other words,
Yeah,
it's
put
not
it
a lot
somewhere.
of
We could
hassle
put
for
that
us.
Exactly.
How
It is.
much you're willing to
It
pay.
is.
People could go walk around that conference.
So we would just need to
All
get
right.
stuff
We would just
donated,
need
put
stuff
it out, and then have
Have a
Yeah.
list.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good idea.
silent auction
Okay,
and
everybody-
donation.
I think that would be
on a
awesome.
basis for-
All right, and that does involve a lot of people too.
Yeah,
so-
and then like you were saying for the lunch, like
You have to
if people really want to do
pre-register
that, yeah,
for the lunch.
pre-register for the lunch, and it's like $10
Yeah,
or
we'll have
something.
them ready.
$10. All right. But
And
we
then we'll
to
have
get a
extras.
count. Okay,
Yeah.
that'll be, that summarizes that. Is that okay with everybody to have that?
I think that would
Sounds
be
fee,
great.
and
easier.
I like that, okay. Then let's go on to the trolley or the bus tours to, and that's 1:30 to 4. And that one option I think we brought up was that tourism board, that they have the Corazon de Trinidad walking tour.
Yeah, they already have
And the
that.
second
Quick
one-
question about that.
I don't know.
So, my understanding, Christy's no longer associated with that,
She isn't.
and so we need to not have her name on there,
All right.
and then we need
Well-
to figure out who would actually lead that. I mean, are there folks from the tourism board? Maybe a couple folks that would actually take some of those tours.
I'll ask, they're gonna reappoint some people at
Yeah, it
the
looks like
tourism
they're
board,
kind
so
of in transition. So I
Right.
don't know, man.
I'll ask Cy what status is that, but they are the ones that developed it, right, and paid for that, so.
That's my understanding.
Then the tour sites that we brought up last meeting was mostly the City Hall, Carnegie Library, and I kind of put this in order because we'd start here at City Hall, go to Carnegie Library, go to the Waterworks building, then go to Fort Wooten, and then the golf course and clubhouse.
I guess we better landmark that clubhouse,
Clubhouse.
then.
And water building?
And the water
And the
building.
water building. Is it called Waterworks or Water
The
Building?
waterworks building. I don't
Waterworks
know
building.
the safety of that water.
But
I'll
we
have
have
to go
that
down
mural
there.
down
Right in
there
the
too.
middle of the
That
floodplain.
mural is there
First
that
of
we
all.
approved. The mural, and there's a lot of.
There's something being knocked down there right now. The back
Yeah,
part
they're
of it.
knocking down. What are they knocking
They're
down?
demoing the back part of it.
What do you mean?
Oh
The
no, I'm
waterworks?
not thinking.
Not of the
Oh no,
building.
I'm thinking
You're
of the
thinking of
electric building.
I'm like, what?
Oh gosh,
No,
they can't demo
no,
that building.
So we need hosts for each of these sites.
Sites, don't you think?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean,
And knowledgeable
figure
hosts
out-
that know who can go study.
Well, I know for the water building that'd be Tom.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Tom
well, because that's the
Tom Potter.
Delicio Chappelle built the waterworks building, and he is the owner of the Chappelle House. So he
Tom
knows.
Murphy? No.
Yeah, so Tom Murphy knows all about like that whole
I'm
building.
confused about the Toms. Okay, Tom Potter.
Tom
He's
Tom
the
Potter. I
Murphy
mean Tom
library.
Murphy. I'm talking. I'm talking Tom
Okay,
Murphy. I'm
Tom
sorry.
Murphy.
Tom Murphy knows the
Yeah.
Waterworks building? Oh,
Yeah.
that's right, because it coincides.
oh
with-
right, right,
The
right.
Chappelle House.
Right, right.
Okay, so
Delio Chappelle.
we need maybe
Was the
Jessica
builder
can
of
Oh,
do
the
it.
okay,
waterworks
yeah,
system.
yeah.
Jessica at the
Dang
library.
it. We need a lot of
She-
work with that building.
And I know
Probably
Phil,
totally into
let's see,
it.
Bill Phillips would do the tour at Memorial Square. Because I know he's the only one that does tours now for that.
Right.
So we got the waterwork. What about City Hall? Who knows? Well, maybe we could get.
And that one
Sharice.
wouldn't necessarily involve coming
Oh, 'cause
inside the
she's right
building
up to the
because
historic.
Right.
that's all the outside of the building. Is
Right.
That's where
Right.
all the historical value
Yeah,
is.
the values in the. So Sharice
So
or Chris or
I
It's
could,
sure
yeah, I
is
could
fun.
do talk on the outside of City Hall.
Chris and Sharice there, and the golf course. Who is that storyteller?
Good
I don't even
question.
know who knows about that.
Tom Porter.
Tom Potter, maybe.
Probably.
He
Yeah.
was talking to me about it when I
Good for you to get that.
Well, he's going to have a lot to do.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, he's gonna be busy. He
Who's
charges
who's-
$10 or $20 an hour. Or something.
liaisoning with Tom Potter, just because last year we had a little bit of a glitch with communication. He's like, "What am I doing?" And he's just hearing
And
this
then
stuff
he had a
through the
toothache.
grapevine.
He had a tooth
Yeah.
problem, right? He almost wasn't going to come.
Oh yeah.
Right, so we need to
We need
make
a
sure
backup.
that communication line is clear. So
Exactly.
With
he's
all
doing
of these
that.
people.
Derek
And we need to
Of
talk.
course.
We need to like make
Or
sure
if-
he
if
wants
not,
to do
I
all
can
this
get all
stuff
the
too.
information
Yeah.
and I could do
That's
it.
a good
Just
idea.
Well,
designate.
I was gonna once we get this
That's a good
uh,
idea, Derek.
schedule
You know,
finalized, I was gonna
Yeah.
put it in a schedule, a break breakdown schedule
Good.
and then have all of our costs attached to it and
that would be
critical
awesome.
timelines, kind of like a project management
Yay.
schedule.
And it is a project.
I make a motion you do that. To have
Can
it.
we do like a
I am
preliminary
excited
one,
about
like,
this
Preliminary,
too.
like a draft one, because that would be our tool.
Right.
Yeah,
And we
to
go
keep on
Tom
schedule.
Potter or whomever, say this is kind of,
And
so
we
have to
assign
propose
these
it, not say you're doing this. You have
tasks.
to
Right.
say, would
Yeah,
you do
would you do
this?
this?
Yeah, that's what
That's
I'm
great.
planning on working on once we get this.
All
Oh,
right.
that's a
Okay.
lot
More
of
lined
people
out.
involved. Lots of
Thank
people.
you, Chris. For,
That would
because
be
I'm not good at
wonderful.
Excel.
So a draft, what do we
What do you
call
call
it?
it?
A
Work
draft
breakdown
project,
schedule.
Work
project schedule.
breakdown. And you'll have that maybe by 1st of February, I think.
Yeah, I just needed to get a final
Yeah.
idea of what's going on here,
Okay,
and then
cool.
we'll just have it,
And we can have the cost to bear.
our costs budgeted out, and our
Yeah,
key
good idea.
persons, and then our assisted person, who's assisting with us, and all of that tasked out.
We already have, and then the Sunday, the only thing I added on was that we should give maybe Jay Chimino the chance to throw the ball out. We talked about that
Oh,
for our
that's nice.
exhibition game. And his partner, Linda Weiss from Colorado Springs Conservatory of Music, she was Sister Blandina. She had the Sister Blandina costume when they opened up the gardens. And she's big time in
Oh.
Colorado Springs. She's the head of that auditorium being renovated in Colorado Springs, this Linda Weiss. She sends out
We need to
fundraiser notes
know.
all the time, and then give notice to Kim Schultz and thank her for all her work on the Main Street Board. So Derek, I put you in charge of that. Is that okay with you? Good. And then we have to stay for the game because we have to promote Kim, and that's her game, and we gotta
Right.
make sure. So that's kind of, I think we've
Okay.
done it now. That's good. That's a lot to go through.
Wait,
Yeah.
this game is out of town, isn't it? Or?
No, the
No.
Sunday one, that's why we're having it Sunday. That's the one in town.
The Santa Fe's coming here.
Santa Fe's coming here. So
Is it before, it's after our little
it's 3
thing.
to 6:30. She said they usually
Santa
last
Fe
after
is
our
at
game.
3:00.
3:00. And then we only have 2 hours there. 1 hour for the exhibition game, and then that other hour was perfect how you want to put that
Do some
radio
kind of,
thing, that radio
yeah.
announcer,
The
and
World Series, what's the name of that announcer?
Ira.
Ina Young.
Ina Young.
I think that's the name of the game. I mean, the Ina Young.
Oh well, we'll figure that out then. We need to figure out that 12 to 1, and you introduce Jay Chimino, and we can have somebody
I
dress up
think
like
we
her or
wanted
something.
Krista volunteered. We'll have to verify this with her.
Right.
But she wanted to sing the national anthem like with an old time mic.
Who was
that'd be
that?
That sounds fun.
Who was that?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, national anthem. That's a good idea.
Who
And
does
what
that?
about-
Krista Russell.
Oh, good.
Krista Russell.
What about
Is she from
the
Boney?
newspapers?
No, with the tea room.
Oh, she does.
And she mentioned that, so we just need to
Oh,
clarify
wow.
that with her
I
and
did
see
not
if
know
it's
that.
still.
Good for you for asking. Sorry about the newspapers. What
I don't know.
about
I just think let's have every baseball game had a paper boy.
That's right. Well, that would be part of
Interesting.
where we can put an
My
exhibition.
kid wants to volunteer for it. He would
To be
be
the newspaper boy.
yeah, it'd be the
Okay.
paper
Aw.
And
But I
could
think
we-
if we could get like a
Well,
historic
maybe we
paper,
could do that program like Wally does.
Make it look like it
But-
anyway.
Yeah,
but
with
it
the
could be
program.
based on so
Right.
this what was it called?
the
that I
history.
sent you,
History of baseball.
Gene. It's from
So-
Kip and I. It was their
or the history of
camps
that game.
and
History of
Camps and plans.
whatever, yeah.
Camps and plans.
so maybe you can Derek.
I'm going to
talk
send you
about
that. Yeah, there's a Primero newsletter that is
Yeah,
called.
there's
Camps
already
and
a
Plans.
model for that was
They do
actually
have one
done.
newsletter, yeah, and we can put some out and we can have them distribute it. Oh, wow, okay, I forgot about that. And Wally does do that. Can I take this or do you want that? I have
No,
I have another one of those.
yeah, wait,
That's
you got a
okay.
couple.
All
Okay.
right, well, great.
All right.
And one last item for the agenda, right? Didn't you have a?
I think we need to have somebody formulate press releases for all of this.
I will do that.
You will?
Yeah, I'll do the press releases if you get me the work schedule.
All right.
All right, and I will do a follow-up press release that talks about our last one, because I have pictures of that, and we did have Steve doing photography for that. So we'll kind of
Oh.
bridge the
Quick, yes.
last 2 years.
And can we? So, what do we want to do about videography and photography for this? I know that's kind of your thing, Carlos, but you're also going to be busy actually participating in the event. So, thoughts?
Well, I know photography, I'll try to get Steve and some of his workers, videography, that's a different story. I don't know if we need it, or we should document, at least the first.
I think it would be nice. Elizabeth always does a great
Oh,
job.
let's get her, let's try it next
Yeah.
year, but we'd
I
have
just
to
want
pay
to see
her.
what you guys think.
Yeah, you
I
have
like
to pay
Elizabeth Holloway.
Elizabeth.
We thought about that. We need to pay her. And
What
we
do you
can,
think,
we can
Carlos?
contact her.
I mean, I think getting Elizabeth would probably be the best thing. I mean, the only thing I could do is set up just stationary cameras, and it's just kind of
You're gonna
boring.
be busy anyway.
Yeah, that
They're
too.
boring, it's too long. We need somebody that can edit and feature and get a,
Finish it up.
a 10-minute video summarizing.
Are you good
I
with
like that.
contacting her?
That needs
Yeah,
to go on our
contact her?
website.
Yeah, I'll contact her. Good
That
idea.
that
Okay.
that would be a good,
Mhm.
something to
Community
put up on
And
our
we'll-
website and
Anise,
say,
maybe we can ask
this is what
Anise,
we
she's
do.
the communications, yeah, we can ask both of them.
Oh yes, we need to
Anissa.
involve Anissa
Anissa.
somehow. Is she gonna? Well, she can. Because we need to post our save the date for sure, like on the
Right.
city website, and
Yeah, as
I
soon
don't
as
know
I
what
go.
else she
yeah.
can do.
I
But she
need to
needs-
talk to her about it and find
Yeah.
out what
Yeah.
she can do.
Yeah.
Okay, don't forget the newspapers when we meet again.
She's gonna
Derek.
promote it. I know that.
Your son will be the newspaper boy.
What's
his
going
name?
on out there?
I
Sounds
know.
like somebody's
Can
stuck.
we get a new muffler?
What's your newspaper boy's name?
Somebody's stuck in this.
It never
Brittany?
Oh,
fails.
that's
We're having a meeting.
Oh, that's
When do
what
you
it-
have time next week to meet? Like Friday or this week, or you're off Thursday?
I'm off Tuesday if you want to meet.
This week? I can't do this week. Well, we'll have to just
Tomorrow.
put our line
I can
ideas.
meet anytime before.
Let me call, I think we need to get a hold of Kim again and really verify what she wants to do with Main Street and what, so let me see when she's available and then I'll get back to you. All
There
right.
you go. Thank you, Jean, for everything that you're doing.
Well, this is so
Wow.
much fun. I love it. It's
Amazing.
better than putting a 150 pre-K through 12th grade music program together. Because I get to do with adults.
Yeah, at least most of the time.
At least most of the time, right? Yeah. I just love it.
Are we good, Chris? Do you need anything else today?
I just need if you get a revision of this,
Okay, I'll
send
get
it
you
to
a
me as soon as possible, and I'll get with Anissa
Good.
to see what she can provide.
On the videography.
Yeah,
And photography too.
video in.
I mean, there's a lot of people in town that really like to do that stuff. I'm sure Main Street has their own group too. So
I'm
what
trying
about
to read your
what
bottom part. No.
Skittles.com?
Oh, okay.
That-
Skittles, of course. I'm like Skittles.
Yeah, thank you for being so overseeing this too, because boy, we need everybody's input. Now, really.
Everybody's got
A lot to do, and
I
it's just so much
appreciate
fun.
it so
because
much.
We're learning so much that we didn't know. And you can always see that.
It's coming
What
together.
about the Boulder thing? You're talking about that, or you don't need to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, conference. Yeah.
Oh yes.
All right.
Did you read? Because I got an email from them. I didn't
You
know
did?
if I was gonna.
Oh.
I think just because I had gone last year.
Oh,
And
okay.
she said, "Oh, you're like, are you coming?"
Once we're registered, you should get an email from them stating the schedule and what you would like to attend virtually. So I'm putting that. I gave all that information to
Oh, you
Brittany,
did. Okay.
and she's doing all the scheduling this year instead of me. So we'll see how that goes. And
Are we all registered
You have
for the
your-
online and only?
yeah,
Carlos
you
is
have
leaving.
your hotel already, but now the next step is to get registration. I'm supposed to have a meeting with her tomorrow on that and get together and get everybody registered for session. So keep
And
your
we can watch those online anytime, right?
yeah. You can either attend at the time they have it, or you can go back and pull these up whenever you want, and you can too.
And that question that I have is, if people want to be a sponsor, do we get the money to the City of Trinidad HPC Commission? Or how do we get money coming in? How do we get
How
that?
do we receive money?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask. That'll be another question to Brittany that I can find out.
And Audra, because if we need it to be designated as Trinidad Historical Preservation Commission, City of Trinidad. So make sure it goes into our
Yeah, it
revenue.
has to be made out to the city of Trinidad and then as a reference.
Historical
said.
Preservation Commission, so they know where to put it in our funding, right? That's what we need.
Okay.
And that's
that
for
okay?
sponsorship.
Yeah, so maybe I should get a little sponsorship thing too out that we can have for everybody. Just a one pager. I got one from that historical. I did have one from those architects in San Francisco.
Are we still applying for a grant from tourism?
Tourism, it's due March 1st, so I'll have that for our
I
February meeting.
can help you with that if
All
you
right.
want me to.
Let's do that on this next
Just
weekend.
send it to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. It's not due till March 1st, but it does ask
Okay,
where
yeah.
we're gonna publish.
Yeah, let me know what you need and I'm happy to
All right,
help.
I'll help you. I'll get that to you. I have them. All right, guys, we're kicking in. I love it. We're really a good team. This is great. We gotta get with Kim as soon as we can. So let me call her first. She just got back.
We're
into
doers.
I'm gonna stop by the
We're not
fire
just talking.
station.
Yeah, ask them and
The
police station. Good. And Carlos, thank you for all the work you're doing with all that
Bacharach.
tech
To Ms.
stuff.
Chief
It's great.
Bacharach.
And Chris, thank you for working even though you're not up to 100%, but we're gonna get you back up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is good.
Oh, you know what? We have one more thing to
What's
discuss.
the other?
What?
The Trinidad Historical.
Oh,
Society.
Oh, sorry, yes, so we're
I'm
going,
gonna go.
so,
I can't go, but you two can, right?
Here's
Okay.
the agendas.
I'm gonna go.
It's on
I'm gonna
Wednesday
try
at
to
3.
go.
so
is
Shirley
it?
and I think are
It's
going
this other
to
historical
the meeting
society.
on
Oh, I can't
Wednesday.
go.
I forgot to mention that.
No,
If,
I was
um,
gonna go, but I can't.
Anyway, so yeah.
Okay, I'm
joining.
gonna
Go ahead.
try to see if we can get registered. If you wanted to join, I'll see if I can't get a list together and just pay them with one check.
Okay, I wanna join.
Well,
Give me my name.
And mostly at this meeting, I just wanna ask them
What is
how and
this?
if they want to be involved. This is an FYI, so they have, their meeting is on Wednesday.
This is Georgie's group.
At
This is-
3. It's a
They've been
Trinidad-
around 100
And you
years.
have to pay to be a member?
$10.
But
$10
the
a
city's
year.
gonna pay for our membership.
It is good, but they are kind of older people, most of them.
Yeah, they're very,
This is
very
next Wednesday.
historic.
Speak for
Yeah, this
yourself.
This Wednesday?
Older than me?
25th,
I mean,
yeah.
you can come if you like, but we don't expect
No.
you to. If
Just
you
trying to
I'll just
network.
come on my lunch.
They
I'll
might be.
just
this-
be
That's
involved.
what I
For
figure, might as well
involvement.
show up.
Is it at City
Do
Hall?
they do?
Yes,
It's
it's
here,
here.
in this room?
It usually, if it's not
Hey,
here,
right here.
it's back in the second floor.
Oh, okay.
But no, that's been
So my
changed.
plan in going to that meeting is to make sure they're aware of what we're doing, invite them, please, we'd love you to come. If they wanna help us, great,
Sure.
but just so they know that they're in the loop.
Mm-hmm. That
Good
we
idea.
have
As soon as I
considered
get
them.
the,
And that we wanna join.
Yeah.
Well, that too,
Sorry.
but, yeah.
right,
That would
okay.
be big to them, I think.
They always appoint a centennial, and they always have a luncheon in the summer for